Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Fix It Garage. In today's episode, we're going to keep working on my 2013 Subaru STI. We're going to continue right where we left off in the last episode. We're going to get the engine out, and we're going to start tearing it apart. Let's get going. Confession time. So as you could probably tell with the first attempt to pull the engine, I was struggling a little bit. Well, that's because when I went into tearing this engine apart, I didn't really look up how to do it. I just used my common knowledge from being a mechanic for so long. Well, to anyone else who goes to pull a Subaru engine, there's a very important bolt that I forgot about, and it is down behind the starter. So behind that starter, there's a bolt that goes in here, inside the bell housing, that holds that shift fork in. Well, I didn't realize I needed to take that off to pull the transmission, because on a Honda, you can normally pull it all off with the shift fork in there. Well, I will admit that I was wrong, and I struggled to pull this transmission off for quite a while. Also, big thanks to my parents for coming out to help me pull the engine. At the time when I went to pull this, I wanted an extra set of hands, and they were the closest people available. So once again, shout out to my parents for stepping in and help me out. Also, here's a little sneak peek of the engine. If you haven't already checked out my Instagram, they're both linked below, both my personal and professional Instagram. Be sure to check it out. You guys can see some sneak peeks of what's coming in future episodes. You can see the car and what it looks like right now. I mean, it's clearly done, and you guys can see it like that. So be sure to go check it out. But yeah, so that bolt, pretty important bolt to not forget that's down in there. Obviously, I can't pull the starter out and show you guys, but yeah, don't forget that bolt when you're going to pull one of these transmissions. Also, the two locating studs on the bottom they're big long studs in the back of the engine that go into the bell housing. Those were kind of a pain, as well as trying to get the turbo over the bell housing when I was pulling the engine off. Those were a few interesting things I had when I was pulling the engine. So now I'm going to show you guys the successful part of where I got the engine out. Okay guys, we're back. So, as you just saw, we got the engine out, put on an engine stand. This time I got the engine out correctly. I remembered after I looked it up, I remembered to get that bolt out that was holding me back. So now it is sitting on the stand. Next thing it's time to do is it's time to start tearing it apart, and then I can show you guys exactly what went wrong with this thing. Okay guys, another thing that we need to talk about with tearing down these engines is their cam gears. Subaru has very special cam gears that require special tools in order to get them off easily. So, me being smart, ordered them in advance. Well, as you could see, I've been tearing apart a lot of this engine with the lower cam gears on. Well, as it turns out, I ordered the wrong tool. So, here is what I ordered, which one of them worked, the other one isn't even for this particular Subaru. And this one right here is the other one that I needed. So I needed these two to get it off, and I had that instead. So it didn't quite work out. So I tore apart as much as I could without this one. And then as you could see, as you'll see here in a minute, once I got this, I tore the engine the rest of the way apart. So looking down in here, that lower one down there is the one that I did not have the part for both left and right cylinder heads. So once I got the part, or rather, once I got the tool right here, I could get back to work, which is what we're gonna do right now. Okay, so as you guys just saw, I've got the engine out, we've got it all torn apart, and we've got the new IAG Stage 2.5 Tuff block on the engine stand. We're gonna talk about that engine block a little more in the next episode. But I figured I would show you guys what happened. So off camera, I took this engine into work and I split the block in half so I could see what exactly happened. Well, here you guys go. As you can see, cylinder 3 bearing decided to start falling apart. I could tell when I was driving it was starting to make some knocking noise, and I knew at that point I had a rod bearing knocking back and forth, and I decided at that point we were just going to tear the engine apart. We were going to do it the right way. So, knowing that Subaru has plenty of issues with their cylinder number 3, I'm going to be building this engine in a way to attempt to make it more reliable and more powerful. So as you'll see when I start putting this thing back together, a lot of things I'm doing are overkill for the amount of power this car is going to put out. But I'm doing it in a way so that in the future I can add power, but also I can keep this thing reliable so I can drive it every day and I can drive it to the track with minimal issues. And with that, that's effectively the end of today's episode. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, please hit the like button and please consider subscribing. We hit our subscriber goal last week of 22 subscribers. So this week, let's try to get to 30 subscribers. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. Links to my Instagram down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. And remember, there's no such thing as a finished project.